Hello, Beatle people. Well, what a day today is. We have the release of a new Beatles single in 2023. What world, what magic, what has made this happen? It was so exciting. I went to Music Millennium as soon as they opened and got the new Beatles single. I'll hold it in my hands now and then. We're so excited. So I want to talk a little bit about the single. Everybody sort of knows the story behind it at this point and all the the long journey this record has gone from around 1979 to 2023. I want to kind of review the physical record itself. But before we do that, I thought we'd take a little trip just through my Beatles single collection. I've got pretty much all the solo singles, all of them. They came out on 45. Some I bought new when they came out, like Blow Away. I think I have 3 copies of that. I have a smaller collection of Beatles 45s I just thought I'd share with you. This is the first one I ever bought off the Rock and Roll Music album in 1976, Got to Get You Into My Life. That's first. And then the first old single that I got was Paperback Writer and Rain. It had a skip on it, but that's the way it goes. Hey Jude, Revolution. This is like a little bootleg of a press conference in Seattle in 1964, which is a little gem I found along the way. Another Apple disc of the Ballad of John and Yoko with Old Brown Shoe on the back. B-sides were always so much fun in the day because a lot of these B-sides weren't on easily available records. This is Come Together and Something. Lady Madonna. I think this is the last one that's on the regular Capitol Spiral label. And then Hey Jude was next. Oh my gosh. Get Back and Don't Let Me Down. Don't Let Me Down. Maybe my favorite thing for being on a B-side in the history of the universe. Let It Be, You Know My Name, Look Up the Number. That's a great one. Something we'll talk about today. The Free as a Bird single from 1995. I also was at the record store the moment it opened to buy this for $5.75, and then followed up with that with the Real Love single. And then we have a promo, Strawberry Fields Forever with the piccolo ending. This is a bit of a rarity. One of the anniversary, I think this is the 20th anniversary of the Sgt. Pepper's. Never released on single in the Beatles time, but in the 80s came out as a single. Similarly, Obladi Oblada as a 45. This is the 20th anniversary of Love Me Do that came out in 1982. Look at those young kids. The Beatles movie medley. It was like a craze for a bit. Another anniversary with the All You Need Is Love disc. This is an EP from 1965, the Yesterday EP, Yesterday Act Naturally, You Like Me Too Much, and It's Only Love. This is a good collector's item. And the most recent addition to my 7-inch collection, Now and Then by the Beatles, out today. Let's first of all deal with this cover. What is the deal? The Beatles, this is the band that made the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover. Abbey Road, the most iconic record cover of all time. This is like the crappiest. It's like a high school, font class. I mean, but the B-side, the backside of it is really cool. I mean, this should have been the A-side or the front of the cover. It's really nice. It comes out in a couple different formats. So this is on blue vinyl. There was also a clear vinyl single available. And there's a 12-inch version as well. Again, super crappy cover. So disappointing. The back, I think, looks pretty cool. And the inside, the record itself is beautiful. The Here Now side is on Apple, and the Love Me Do side is on the old original Parlophone label. And it also comes with an insert that tells the story of Now and Then, and all the people involved, including George, Paul, John, and Ringo. It's a nice 12-inch collection. It plays at 45 RPM, so make sure you set your turntable at the right speed. So I just want to talk a little bit about this record. And so many of us have had this very emotional few days. On Wednesday, there was this Peter Jackson produced 12-minute video, 12-minute little movie that BBC launched, and it was posted on the Beatles.com website. And it was just there was so much film that we hadn't seen before, so many images, including of the 95 reunion that we hadn't seen before. And there is a moment when they're talking about the new process, thanks to Peter Jackson's Mal technology, Mal Evans, still with us, where they took this crappy little cassette that had John in probably 1979 banging on his piano in the Dakota singing the song, which I don't think, I went through a bunch of my Lost Lennon tapes CDs, and I don't think it ended up on it. I don't think we started really hearing about Now and Then until the rumors that there was this third track after Free as a Bird and Real Love to end up on Anthology 3 that never materialized. The result, there started to be these rumors of Now and Then. There is a moment in the documentary where they demonstrate the technology, and it's the first moment where they have lifted up John's voice from the piano and cleaned it up a little bit, and you just hear his voice like he was with us right now.
I know it's true.
When I heard that, there were chills. There was like an, oh my God, this record is really going to sound good. It was sort of this little preview we got. The record, we've been hearing versions of this. The demo has been leaked out in bootlegs. There's a bunch of people who have tried to AI it. There's this guy named Klaus who does these really good, he sounds like John Lennon, and he makes these kind of albums of him singing sort of Lost Lennon songs, and he has a really great version of Now and Then. He has a couple of versions of it. So we've had sort of, I think we know what the song is kind of gonna sound like. And then we get this BBC documentary, this 12 minutes, where we see, like, okay, there's going to be some of George's solo. Paul's adding this bass bit that's going to sound really good. And Ringo's in the drums and also singing. Paul's doing some guitar work on it. And then yesterday at 7 a.m. on the West Coast time, a lot of us were up, got to hear the song for the first time. And the consensus among everybody that I know and all the people that I don't know is we're all just sobbing. We're all just in tears for multiple reasons. One, we have a Beatles record, and it's this beautiful, melancholy, a very sort of aching song that now sounds like it's about Paul. That John is singing to Paul about Paul, and in the end, we will all, find our way back to each other. There is this moment in the record where it's John's voice, and then John's voice from the late 70s, 30-something John, with 80-something Paul singing the harmony. And the connection of these two voices of old Paul and, not yet 40 John together is, I don't know how to describe it. There is this magic that crosses. This record took decades and decades and decades to become a thing that we could hold in our hands. So there is this incredible magic, and the feeling that John is singing to Paul. That's the takeaway I get from this. There is also, since it was produced by Giles Martin, he uses all these tricks that he used on the Love soundtrack to bring in other Beatle records. So you hear from some other Beatle records that you'll recognize. For example, the sort of chorus or the vocal harmonies from Because on Abbey Road are sort of flown in to be the backing chorus singing. I'm like, wait, that sounds familiar. Oh yeah, that's from Love. So there's a little bit of a mashup technology going on. So there's some previous Beatle records in there. There is this discussion in the video about Paul doing a guitar solo, slide style as a tribute to John. A tribute to George. There has been a little bit of conversation about what is Paul playing and what is George playing. And Paul played lead guitar on a lot of Beatle tracks, including the incredible solo on George's Taxman. So, he's got a long history of playing guitar on Beatles records. It's not super impressive. It's not as soaring a Beatle track as Free as a Bird. I mean, I remember sitting in front of the TV with the countdown in 1995 to the new Beatles song, the new Beatles song, the new Beatles song, and then boom, 0, and they played the incredible video, and just being like, holy God, here's all 4 of them together. This is not that. This is more of a heartfelt summary. And the beautiful thing about this is that they put a B-side on, and we don't get some like random silly song. We get Love Me Do, a kind of Giles Martin, I think the Giles Martin remix of Love Me Do, or so the bass is really up front. And, it's a really interesting thing to think about. On Now and Then, it's a John song with Paul kind of coming in for the harmony support. On Love Me Do, it's pretty much a Paul song with John coming in on the harmonies. And so you go from the first single, Love Me Do, to the last single, Now and Then, and it's just like this perfect. It's perfect. My 9-year-old daughter, Cozy, informed me yesterday that Now and Then is her favorite song of all time. She went with me to the record store today to get her copy of it. And it is a closing of a chapter. They're going to put this version on the upcoming edition of the Blue album that's coming out on the 10th. And we'll have it in multiple formats. But it's a moment. It's a moment for Beatles fans. It's a moment for the musical world. Some people might be like, well, it's not Hey Jude. No, this is a song that is a very personal song that is about the connection of these 4 men and the magic that they produced. George Martin is sort of there indirectly through his son Giles Martin, and we don't have the sort of Jeff Lynne presence that we had on the last Beatles records, and it's a beautiful moment. It is a beautiful moment that I get to go into a record store and ask for the new Beatles single. I can't believe it, and it's the last time I imagine that I'll ever do that. So it's worth savoring and being present in this moment. Here we are, November 2nd. November 3rd, November 2nd. And then, of course, we had this today on November 3rd. Not only did we get the physical version, November 2nd was sort of the digital release. November 3rd is the physical release. But we also got this amazing video that was dropped this morning that uses some of that AI technology to reunite the band. I mean, there's that first scene in the video where all 4 of them are together, the present day Paul and Ringo, and the Ghosts from Our Past of George and John, and it's just a wonderful moment. So I want to, we don't get many gifts like this from the universe that bring something like this together. So I want us to just take a moment to really appreciate how lucky we are to be in the moment of this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song from these 4 wonderful personalities that created so much magic and defined more than a century of culture. There you go. All right. Just wanted to share that with you. Go out and get it. Whichever format you get. I know, the cover sucks, but the record is really meaningful, and just magic. Just be present in the moment of listening to a new Beatles track. Wow. Okay, there you go. More Vinyl Fetish coming up. We're going to do a Gen Pop Challenge next because Cozy wants to weigh in on her opinion on this record, and we'll do that soon. Just be groovy. The Beatles matter. This record matters. You matter. Let's be present and talk about it.